Week number 4 is finally upon us. This is yet again the TCU, and once again, my name is Anton. I'm joined by Inflict for the fourth week in a row, and I gotta admit, Inflict. Last week we saw a bit of a blowout in terms of the series that we had on stream, but that was nothing compared to what we saw off stream because I went back and looked, in fact, in preparation for this matchup that we have here today, and both matches were absolutely one-sided last week. The one that was off stream, played by none other than one of our teams this week, Sitting Bull College, was 13-0, 13-0, even more one-sided than the one we have on stream. And this week we have them going up against Chankadeska Chicana, which were the team that we saw absolutely smash their opponents on stream last week. So we have a heck of a barn burner this week.
Yeah, this has a good potential to be a close one. However, the Wolves have had just a phenomenal run so far. As you said, I mean, sure, the Sitting Bulls, they may have had an absolutely phenomenal game, winning 26 to nothing. And, well, it speaks volumes, but the Wolves have absolutely obliterated every single one of their competition as well. Sure, it may not have been as dominant as a 26-0 scoreline, but they themselves won 26 rounds while only conceding 4 across the board across the two maps. So they
Mhm.
themselves are looking really dangerous. And realistically, Sitting Bull might just be the only team that can, I guess, put up some competition against them at this point. Then.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think this is like somewhat ironically one of the closest matchups that we have in this event. And by event, I mean league. 5 week season. Once again, this is the second to last week that we have here. And yeah, I don't. It's been quite difficult so far, I think, for a lot of these teams because, as we've mentioned time and time again, a lot of these players are quite new. So, whatever we go to in the gameplay, there's always going to be experience trumps everything, right? So it's like if you just have more time in the game, if you have more time to get used to all the weapons and all the maps. Speaking of, you're just going to have a lot more success.
Yeah, I mean, also the fact that I guess both of these teams do have quite a lot of momentum coming into this one as well. And as you said, we are in the
Hmm.
final 2 weeks. Wolves themselves, they've won both of their series flawlessly so far. Sitting Bulls, however, they've lost one of their two series that they've played, and they lost that against the Bravehearts. The scoreline there went
Hmm.
2-1 in terms of the map count, and looking at the history, we just saw Wolves absolutely dominate the Bravehearts last week with that 26-4 scoreline. So just by a matter of association, that should, in theory, put the Wolves at a massive disadvantage because the only team that has beaten Sitting Bull so far got absolutely demolished by the Wolves.
Yeah, yeah, that's like there. I don't think there's a better way to put it. That's basically the kind of landscape that we have right now. Bravehearts being second place. They're still actually uh, they still have the most games played. So that might be part of the reason why Wolves haven't played all three of their games. Neither has Sitting Bull. This is going to be the one, right? This week is going to be the one. So this is going to be interesting to see which team is going to be able to take it all the way through. Because like you mentioned, both these teams have momentum. I think that's what Sitting Bull is going to really have to bank on coming into this matchup. Because yeah, as we've seen before, if there's no like weird Ouroboros of teams in this league, then logically, because Bravehearts and Sitting Bull were so close, they're the only team. Excuse me, they're the only series so far in this entire league that has gone 3 maps. All the other ones have been 2-0s. Some of them have been close. Some of them have been not. It's the for lack of a better term. So yeah, there's definitely a hierarchy coming in this matchup, but fingers crossed for the side of Sitting Bull that they can show up and bring over some of that momentum that we know is so important in the game of Valorant from last week.
Yeah, well, we're gonna be heading into map number one here. Again, that's gonna be split. And Sitting will quite confidently locked in their agents quite quickly within mere seconds. So they, from the looks of it, know what they want to do and are doing. And starting on defense, the favorable side on split here as well. That too with two sentinels. They seem to have a game plan here, and I'm liking that so far. But the question is whether or not the execution will be up to par to be able to just keep the Wolves back and not let them just all walk all over them.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty standard stuff here over towards the defensive side of Sitting Bull. the Sage up through mid. Clove to support. I mean, Clove playing on this map, you're pretty much going to be locked down to either the mid position inside the mail or actually just top mid inside vents. Because if you die anywhere else, you're kind of deficient with your sights.
Time to
But
jump.
we have a decision here made by Tankadesco already into this A. I have a flash DP here from Knight on the Zoru. And deep in the site they already are. Easy over here cheating the orb, even though. Okay, no, it's actually Jay. I thought that was a defender. In fact, the defenders do try and make their way over towards ramp, but Jay is good for the first kill, not for the second though.
But Dodson did get punished forward. Spike's already been back into the system. Now to 4 versus 4. The flash timing on that, but awkward. But the Citadel started to find the frags. However, 2 versus 4 to defend Spike now. Fives, he's found
Last
it.
player standing. One enemy remaining.
Fives survives. Both of the Sages remaining. One on just 10 HP. There is going to be a hit coming through.
Oh!
And Sen finds the final headshot. Sitting Bull, call it strikes first.
Alright, that's a nice shot coming out from Sen there. Very, very fast on the trigger. Gonna have plenty of time for that defuse. And it went in a 1v1. That was a pretty close round. Decent positions from all of Chonkadeska. I respect even leaving that one player, the Whaley, over towards the ramp to try and take some fights. Unfortunately, got way too overwhelmed after the first kill. Good trades by Sitting Bull coming back into it too. But yeah, it all came down to a 1 versus 1 at the end. Sage versus Sage, but Sen was just that much faster on the trigger. Now just up to what they want to buy on the defense after that win. And I think this might be one of the examples that I mentioned of the fact that we have a lot of newer players here in the league, right? So they're actually going to opt for only bandits and half armor, other than on Sen, who lived with a ghost, and then Temperament with a stinger. So this is going to be quite interesting. This is a pretty even playing field for this anti-eco that we see from Sitting Bull. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Chonkadeska actually take a lot of damage.
I mean, the start off strong. Weasel already strong.
Cover going out.
Bandit picked up. Wise gets blocked off here. However, Weasel will even attempt it. That's a perfect fault line to back up his teammate. Great team play coming in from the side of the Suns here. And that's going to provide them with the equalizer. However, the spike once again making its way towards the middle of the map where the Sage awaits them. However, timing's going to be everything. Sen has moved away, but now here's the audio cue and feels the pressure as well. Fives immediately picks them off. The push makes its way towards the B side, completely taken over. ISO backs off to playing this attack but safer at 3 versus 4. It's a situation is certainly not going to be easy, especially not with the weaker arsenal that they have working with. Joel gets another. Only 2 remain for the Suns.
Okay, a bit of whiff shots from Devolt. Good on the. I mean, the crosshair was on. The bandit's not that accurate. That kind of fire rate. Temperament, though, does get both the kills. Doesn't manage to find where Knight is. And Nice is going to let them pass. But the classic in hands, it could be a bit dicey. Even if he gets up to close range, he's going to wait for the stick. Temperament is just going to be on this. And the right click is easy. Alright, he's got it. Chonkadeska with only classics into the round. Knight does come out with the stinger. The only primary weapon bought up from Temperament.
Yeah, a really great round actually coming out from the Wolves here. Their situational awareness was really well to be able to isolate those fights out and take advantage. Got some great timing while the push came towards B ramp as well. Unfortunately, Sen could have realistically held them down, however, gave up the angle a tad bit too soon. But now the Suns, they are gonna have to work with a much inferior purchase yet again, while the Wolves get their hands on full rifles.
That was a bit of an accident by Jay. I'm pretty sure he meant to go all the way up into heaven, but instead has to dash all the way back after he gets shot in the back. The Weezy doesn't punish Temperament for trying to take out one of his teammates. The second even, Devolt tries to go through the heaven smoke even. Almost gets some shots off, but the guns are just not good enough in this round to make anything happen in terms of kills. Wolves are stuck into the site. They have the Yoru and the Omen over here, all the way deep inside the slows, and even doing some more work in terms of kills, while the rest of the team creeps away one by one. These guys are still worried about this A presence, though. Kebbles does find the kill on the Knight on the site, but Reezy is still here, cutting off any potential rotations. Not like they're even going for them, because they don't know this plant's going down on B. Weezy's done it all, with his teammate, the Waylay, right behind him as well. And Kebble's last alive has to do everything around, but I don't even think he's gonna look the right way. Wheezy's gonna find every single player securing the ace and the third round.
I mean, they did lose the pistol, however, Wolves, it's starting to look like that they've found their rhythm yet again. However, yet to be tested against a full set of rifles, for that the Suns are now gonna get their hands onto here as well, with a lot of ultimates coming online on either end. Weasel and Flies already have theirs, Sen and Temperament are 1 point away from getting theirs online, so this realistically could turn into anything. The Rolling Thunder is what I'm most intrigued about, how it'll get utilized. However, the breach is nowhere close to where the execute's happening right now, where they already pushed in towards the B side, the Paranoia onto Whimsical Rex, so the things are going to be a tad bit more difficult. The Sage Wall keeping them safe, at least for the time being, and Sen's already
Spike
gone, so
planted.
Whimsical Rex, he's isolated. The Clove is present up top, but should only be a matter of time before it is found, and hence there you go. Jay pushes up further, spotted, however,
Player
still
standing.
making do with a lot of damage, leaving only one player behind.
Oh, he eats the flash too. That's not looking too well. Jay, nice shots to close that one out. And even the Omen getting healed up at the Sage towards the very end just to make sure he's topped up for the next round. That's not how it works, but you get the idea anyways. Topped up, just like their bank accounts, because 7 grand, 8 grand, 6K on Jevil. And Chonkadeska off of the pistol round loss, coming back because Sitting Bull didn't end up investing into that second round, even though they won the pistol. This is 3 in a row for Chonkadeska, and because of that, they have so much money to work with in these future rounds. Fives is going to stick on this Bucky even on the offensive side. Usually you'd see that maybe on the defense, especially if you're on the Sage. But I'm curious how he's going to make this one work. They're going to run straight into A once again, and this dash is going to miss for a second time. Maybe he'll get that eventually, but for now, that does actually slow down the A push quite a bit with these smokes and that fault line.
Yeah, the fault line, however, was greatly negated by the smoke. Oh, Knight realistically could have found a lot of damage there, however, Sen shuts him down. Gebels trying to hold on, but his teammates fall and leaving only 2 behind. Gebels overhealed her, but that's going to fade away. Down to 34 HP, and within mere seconds will fall to the hands of Weasel. And yet again, it's a whimsical wreck all by himself, losing Whimsy alongside his life from behind as Weasel shuts him down.
We've been playing some nice tunes for us to close out that round with. Wheezy now up to 11 kills, by the way, up with the Omen on the controller. Fragging is mined out, so this is a very, very good showing for Chonkadeska. I don't think anyone is surprised to see the numbers that they're putting up so far. But Sitting Bull with that first round win definitely gave me a little bit of hope, but it's all but kind of withered away at this point, considering how well Chonkadeska has been playing around the board. They've just been taking this quite simply. There haven't really been many defaults. It's just kind of 5-man stacking outside of one side at a time. This time it's going to be B. And they're running straight in, getting the kills. Rek can't do anything. He's only the victim of his name. Sen doesn't have a response, so perhaps coming back to form, but Wolves quickly traded out with Weezy requiring that kill anyways, and the second on the site.
Kill my allies.
This has to be one of the faster rounds that we've seen amongst
Spike
these
planted.
6, and I mean, Temperament does have his ultimate online, however, not the weapon that will be able to support or justify the use of it. Loose Wall from
Player
behind
standing.
has struck one, but the teammate's fallen, and so in a 1 versus 4 with just a Spectre, what is it realistically that he can do? But pressure is starting to mount on, and he's found one. Unfortunately, the reload timing will be the cause of his death. 5th on board for the Wolves.
I gotta admit, I mean, there's a flashpoint good from Heaven up in Temperament's side. He actually hit 2 with that flash, so there might have been a chance in that round if he had a better weapon, but that was a full save from Sitting Bull. So unfortunately, nothing of the sort. Now they come back in with the rifles. Well, they've had this before, and they haven't managed to find too much success even still. But hopefully in this kind of round, with 4.9 ults pretty much, Kebble's the only one 7 out of 8 in that not dead yet. Fingers crossed that they can take a round like this, because if they can't, this might mark disaster pretty early on. This breach is going to have to retreat all the way back, flashpoint out, trying to get away. Does get a kill ahead of time, and even finds a second on a night. All right, Sitting Bull now waking up. What?
What?
What is that?
How do you even time that so perfectly? One random spray and you get. Fair enough. I mean, well, Saying
Spike
well,
planted.
you wanted competition, you got it, Anton. They finally put up a round and they did not even need to use even one of their ultimates. However, it's still not done as of yet. Weasel pushed up a tad bit aggressively, trying to give everything. Oh, he lines up too. Both headshots found. And timing's perfect for Jay as well. Now he can strike pretty easily on the Clove as well. Ooh. Well, the rest comes through, so that's gonna put the advantage back into the favor. Weasel's heard.
One enemy
Fuse is
remaining.
coming through. He gets the headshot and
Last
they're
player
making it
standing.
work. It's a 2 versus 5, almost up on the board. Jay now in a 1 versus 1. The clock's ticking away. Kevin's hopped on. Timing. He gets it. Jay finishes it off. A 3K for him, a 3K for his fellow, and they confirm a 2 versus 5, or technically a 2 versus 6, given the resurrection.
Even with that good of a start from Sitting Bull, they could not end up converting that 5v2. Yeah, like you said, 6v2. Ascended, bring back Temperament with that utility. I mean, yeah, good decision to bring back Temperament. He's got the breach utility, he's got the fault line, he's got the flashpoints, but at the end of the day, this game, we're playing Valorant, right? I say this every single time I cast and I see a scoreline like this, 6-1. It's an FPS game. You're supposed to shoot people. Weezy's got 16 kills. He's one of the 2 left alive in that round. He's gonna get every single one for them. And now into this B site, it's Knight to open it up. Not even Wheezy. Jevils is gonna pop that not dead yet, but I'm pretty sure he's gonna be dead pretty soon. Jevils gonna be the one to confirm that one, and the Rolling Thunder denies the plant and the kills for just a second, but all the frags happen to go Tonkadeska's way anyways. Knight's the only casualty, and Jay with the plant makes sure they keep that momentum going.
Yeah, the Wolves are looking just as comfortable as they did last week as well, and it's only getting worse and worse for the Sitting Bull, as you said. I mean, the last round was their best chance of closing out a round. Now they've even depleted every single one of their ultimates as well, and yet this no round has worked out for them. And I think that the timing was very off on the coordination of the ultimate used by the Clove and the breach, because I think the only real way that ultimate makes sense, especially with the Sage wall up and most of the players sitting behind it, was to try and just keep the Clove alive for a tad bit longer for the Clove to be able to take that fight. However, unfortunately, that just could not happen. He fell. The Rolling Thunder came out too late, and Kevils will yet again be challenged and tested towards this A side. Temperament, though, keep backing up, has found one, but Jay just ducked into a corner.
It is a plant weird for Wolves. Temperament with a response. He was the one to open up the round in the first place, taking out the best player on the side of Tonkadeska. And maybe that's all it takes. Maybe that is what they have needed all along. Sitting Bull opening up the round with a kill onto Wheezy. The absolute hard carry right now for the Wolves. 16-4, not available in the round for any kind of play other than throwing down smokes. But they need more from Wheezy than just smokes, because Sitting Bull end up taking their second round of the game off of the Omen's death in the entry. And now, with a bye, they still sit on the precipice of yet another large save, because they haven't had the time to build up too much economy. They've had to rebuy almost every single round. The loss bonus has made it so that there's a couple players that are sitting pretty healthy, Sen and Rek respectively. But Tonkadeska, given their performance so far, they have been just investing so hard into the stock market, not into guns, because they have so much money even still. So it's going to take them a couple more rounds to end up reaching 0. So Sitting Bull really have to cut the momentum and keep it stopped. Otherwise, Tonkadeska are just going to run away with the rest of his half.
And first side of the defense bypassed already, and they're not prepared for whimsical wreck. A nice TP in from behind to get the trade. However, the spike, it's still hovering about mid, and they may not be prepared for the breach to still be around. This is a very split play from the side of the Wolves. They're trying to... I'm not sure if they themselves are the ones guessing here, or if they're trying to confuse the Suns, but things are looking good as Knight has gotten out another kill from that same positioning. But now Jay's spotted one at the very least. And I really love this positioning from Jay. He tends to play these highly aggressive angles even with nobody to trade out, speaks a lot about his confidence, which could realistically be idiotic as well. But that doesn't happen because he manages to find a lot of kills. However, not this time. Kebbles
One
is
enemy
going to find
remaining.
another one, and that quickly has left only Knight alive. It would have to be an ace from him to be able to clinch this round out.
This is not going to happen. Kebble shuts him down with a nice little headshot. One tap onto the Heaven player. And now second round in a row for Sitting Bull. First time in the map that we've seen that one. All of them so far defuses, because Shankadeska has actually been very good with their plants, but once again, same problem happens. This time it's a lack of judgment. Walking into that B site, they managed to use all the utility correctly that they have been all along, but they walk in, and Wheezy walks in with the entry before Knight actually gets in with the flash TP to the back of the site. So even though they managed to dislodge the player that was sitting in Cubby, Wheezy died first. So without the top frag, once again, Shankadeska, they lost the round. So somehow, it's only been 2 rounds, but I'd like to see a little bit of adaptation right now. Send these Yorus in, right? Knight's going to go forward first, and this time they have the scout. They have the information on 2 of the players in the site with the TP all the way in the back. So this is looking a lot better. Wheezy now keeping his life, maintaining it, and that flash. Perfect teamwork coming out from the Wolves. And they have the plant down.
One looking for another, and oh, that's just bad for Deuce. He anticipated there to be nobody as his teammate checked the angle. However, the timing was absolutely phenomenal from Weasel, and Temperament now is the last one alive. Readjustments have come through from the Wolves, and they've put up their 8th. That was such a beautiful play with those simultaneous TPs coming in. One from the Yoru, one from the Omen's ultimate as well. They timed it absolutely perfectly, followed it up with an immediate flash from the Yoru, and it was just quite literally peak coordination that we saw coming out from the Wolves.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And just like I mentioned, they have to adapt, right? And after 2 rounds of making the same mistake, no more. At least that's the idea, right? There's only 1 more in the half. So there's not much more room to make that kind of mistake again. But I don't think we're gonna see Wheezy running first this last round. And we're gonna see, in fact, the Wailer, there he goes. Okay, Jay is gonna go in with the dive agent. That is exactly what we want to see. And at this C's too, I'm pretty sure the Fade landed a C's all the way back in towards screen. So this guy, Kebbles, gets stuck there, dies to the Odin, gets picked up by Sen, but Wheezy's made his way all the way up into heaven now, getting the plant down. Wheezy still has this advanced position, but goes down today. Volt, don't think he realized that they're coming all the way from ramp. This flank hasn't activated just yet. Finally does get some shots off, but Knight misses a couple, lands it towards the end of it, and it should be all done and dusted. Nice job, even though they let the Omen go down this time. They come back in the extremities, and they make sure they have the positions to catch everyone from Sitting Bull off guard.
Or more rounds needed, and I mean, technically, this is the closest game that Wolves have had on broadcast so far. They've not faced any competition whatsoever, so even putting up 3 rounds before the conclusion of a half is one of the finest performances that we have seen a team put up against them. However, the game just isn't done as of yet. There still is a possibility for a comeback to be mounted here, but if it's realistic, is it realistic? Probably not, but it's good to see some competition coming out.
Yeah, I think it's for any team, it would be hard. Like this Wolves squad, man. Like there's just, I genuinely, if I was any of the other teams in this league, I do not know what I'd do against them, because I think it does come down to the fundamental aspect of like we're playing an FPS, and Wheezy has 19 frags. If he didn't have 19 frags, or if he died more, like we saw in the middle 2 rounds of this half, then Sitting Bull just have that much more of a chance to win. But because they have these shooters on Chonkaneska, Wheezy and Knight, Knight definitely not as much, but there's still 1, 2.5 players that can make these frags happen. It's so difficult for any other squad to be able to win rounds because they just can't find the headshots, and sometimes that's just all that matters.
Yeah, it would require a great amount of WOD review and trying to figure out how exactly do you isolate those fights out consistently to be able to disrupt the Wolves practically every single round, and how you would have to figure out how they readjust as well. But that is only going to happen later because the game's ongoing. There's no time for a WOD review. It's all down to the guns that are blazing down on the players of the Suns, and within mere seconds, Temperament is yet again last alive. 1 headshot found, the second nowhere to be seen. double digits secured for the Wolves.
Actually, mouse control pretty decent for the breach there up in heaven, but just unlucky he ran out of ammo. We've seen that a couple times already this game alone. So unfortunate that they yeah, that's another thing, right? Sometimes spending too many bullets towards the start of a fight and not having the time to reload, like it's not always their fault that they can't reload. Sometimes it's really beneficial to just stand your ground, right? But that is one of the things that that I was talking about. You just have to land these headshots quick and easy. But like this is a very short term thing, right? There's 5 weeks in this league. There's 5 weeks in the season. This is week number 4, so we're reaching kind of the end of it. If I think if at this point, if any team really wants a quick short term solution to Chankadeska, it can't really be guns because Chankadeska are just that much better in terms of individual mechanics. Like these guys, you can see, you look at them play, and it does really feel like they're aiming exactly where they need to aim, even through smoke. They're on body level. They know how to control their weapons. They know how to control the sprays. And like other than aiming them, like other than out aiming, I think the only really option is for these teams against them start on defenses and try and hold some trap plays. Try and get them when they're doing stuff like this, getting a bit overzealous. You can maybe pick up a couple kills, keep their economy honest every once in a while, and perhaps it can be a little bit closer than what we see here today. 3-11 is quite a tough scoreline against a team like the Wolves.
Yeah, it's just again, the Wolves are practically running this league at this point, and quite literally. I mean, they've won two
Mhm.
series. Both of them, I believe, they only lost like 8 rounds in across the two series
I don't even
collectively.
think that's the case. I think they've lost like 2 rounds.
Well,
Let
they
me
lost
let me
four.
count.
They
No,
they lost
they're
four
making out
rounds
scope of
last
fights.
week.
Cover going out.
They lost 2 last week. It was 13-0, 13-2.
Oh,
It was even more one side.
well,
This team is they can't be beat. Like they're here to play.
Spike down
yeah, put
A.
them in center or something at this point. But fives. Oh, missed shot. Makes up for it. There's another. Now looking for more. The range in that
enemy
dog
remaining.
versus be able to pull that one off. However, the push comes through. Does have some help available, and officially Wolves are on map point.
Match point.
Yeah, sitting bull. I mean, they're trying to punch back. They're doing everything they can. I think they even forced twice in a row. Usually again, usually when you lose the pistol round, you're not meant to go for a buy, but I think they really just wanted every single round that they had some semblance of a fighting chance. But unfortunately, because of the fact that they lost round 2 anyways with that buy, they had to save round 3. So now it's the 4th round in the second half that they have a full buy, kind of. Sen's got no armor. Temperament's got a bulldog. But at this point, the Wolves are on map point, so they can't lose. They have a rolling thunder, which is all they've really got to show for themselves, but it's already gone because of Knight's aggressive push down mid. Beautiful stuff from the Yoru to take out the individual ults on the attacking squad, and Oezy just wants to finish it off here and now, but he goes down as well.
One enemy remaining. Spike down mid.
Last player's alive. Whimsical Wreck that's trying to hold down the line. Unfortunately, won't be able to allowed to do so. His counterpart, the Jay on the other end, is going to be able to finish him off in a 13-3 scoreline. I mean, Wolves have not had a one single map where the game felt like it was gonna get out of their hands. I mean, they had a slow start. They lost the pistol round, but they retaliated immediately afterwards, and just there has absolutely been no single round where even the rounds that they lost where it felt like that, okay, you know what, this is a point of possibly worry for the side of the Wolves. Suns, they had some good rounds, they had some good individual showings, but they never as a collective group felt like they could be a threat to the Wolves.
Yeah, absolutely. And the couple of times that the Wolves did end up losing rounds, it really was just one tiny little pin falling over and toppling over the rest of the stack because it was literally one, they lost the pistol. It happens. There was a nice shot from Sen towards the end to end it out in a 1v1. And the next 2 rounds they lost. The only other 2 rounds they lost on split were Wheezy walking in first and dying for some reason. First time it was into B. Guy walked onto the plant site. They didn't clear back left and he died to that. Second time was up in A heaven. He walked all the way to the end of heaven. not entirely sure what the idea was. Perhaps he just wanted to try and catch someone off guard because you don't really expect an Omen there towards the start of the round. So decent positioning, but Sitting Bull College just ended up taking him out. So that was the second time, and they couldn't win the clutch without him. And ever since then, he didn't do that ever again. So perhaps it was just them getting a bit complacent, and they're like, okay, we're just absolutely stopping them. We can send Wheezy in, or Wheezy himself just saying like, okay, I can just walk in. They're not going to kill me anyways. They did, lo and behold, and then he stopped. So easy enough. If something stops working, you just stop doing it. And that's exactly what they did. And then they just took the rest of the rounds in the whole map. it's That was kind of just the story of it. 13-3. Well played to the Wolves. But for Sitting Bull's sake, we did mention that they did go 13-0 twice last week. So I mean, they have some fight in them. Like they're not completely out of it yet. So for their sake, hopefully they can bring it back on the second map. After this quick break, we will be going to Pearl, where Sitting Bull are going to attempt to bring it to a third map. If they get there, it'll be mine, but we'll have to see. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Chalkadeska Chicana continuing their form of success, of their form of dominance that they've had the past three maps that they've played. They have lost a solid 5 rounds across all of those three maps from last week to this week. The only time where they had a fight that was put up against them, we didn't see on stream, which was a little bit unfortunate. That was the Mykonox playing them in week number 2. And ever since then, it feels like they have an absolute breeze going through this. But unfortunately for them, we're not going to that map. We're going to Pearl, which is where Sitting Bull College is going to have to take it back if they want to bring us to a third map and have a chance of winning the series. Once again, my name is Anton. I'm joined here by Inflict as we take you guys through this series of Chalkadeska Chicana versus Sitting Bull.
Yeah, I mean, realistically speaking, after that map number one, we sort of know what the storyline looks like here. The Wolves, whenever they've had a dominant first map, well, which has quite literally been always, they've always had a second great map as well with us with the same or a better score line, and so it's starting to look a tad bit dangerous. However, the only silver lining that I have here is the fact that Sitting Bull, they are going to be heading on to Pearl, which is their map pick. So I hope that there is a better showing from them here, and they can keep the scoreline close at least a tad bit longer. But do I realistically believe that they can close out a map against the Wolves? The answer just has to be no right now.
Yeah, this is it's such an impossible hill to climb when you run into a situation where someone on the enemy team just aims better, and that so far has been Wheezy. And this time they're putting Wheezy on a much more aggressive agent than the Omen that they were playing before. Instead, Jevel's going to swap over to the controller role on the Clove, and Wheezy's going to pick up the Neon. So this could be a little bit like there's pros and cons, right? The pro is definitely that Wheezy gets a lot more freedom to do whatever they want. Even if they die, they're not going to be missing like a
Oh,
crucial agent like Smokes. So okay, Jay's
um,
gonna be yeah, respect that. We're gonna have Arena. So it really does look like the Wolves just want this map to end even faster than their previous. Maybe they thought that
it
okay, we went from a 226 to a 326, so 3 rounds is already too many that Sitting Bull has gotten. But this is definitely a very, very aggressive composition from the Wolves.
3 duelists, no initiators. This is questionable, but I
I
see the
mean,
vision.
they
It's questionable.
they're like we can get the information when we see you on our screens. That's the idea.
See, the thing is, Reina realistically is not too great of a of an agent to be played on a map like
Hmm.
Pearl, and Neon and Veli, both of them can be highly aggressive. However, the question could be the setup, that looks like. They're not gonna have any util to back them up. They're not gonna have any information to back them up either. So realistically, one of those two duelists would have to enact being an initiator, whether the Waylay or the Neon, of course. But Jay, well, he's off to a good start, and well, you don't need utilists to find frags, and that's exactly what they're looking to do. Knight immediately backs off. He's done this way too many times. Jay continuing to strike as do go down, make that 3 already, potentially up for an
One
ace. There's
enemy
2 people
remaining.
remain, make that 1.
I mean, Rek is pretty far displaced from all the action. Finally gets spotted, and Jay cleanly aces in the first round of the second map. Wolves off to a hot start with the Reyna already looking very good.
Very good indeed. Well, I mean, I did say that Arena is not a great agent to be played, but when you can hit your shots, that's really what it is about. It is a tag FPS after all in the end. However, it's still early in the game, but Sitting Bull after a bad start here as well. Wolves are walking away with the momentum now. A better Arsenal as well. This round realistically should be extremely quick as the Wolves aim to hit the A site in quick succession here from the looks of it. Flash out already, push coming through, and the Waylay dashing in. The Wise Wall should keep at least a few of them at bay, at least for a little while, but it has been baited out, so trouble in paradise within just a few seconds, but the backup has started to rotate in. Reinforcements should be arriving soon. Great util usage from the side of the Suns to be able to take 1 out. However, that's going to force a rotation from the Wolves.
Oh, Jay's already putting it on there. Still inside that A main, and Knight following up alongside inside of Art and that little transfer. Nice shots from the Waylay. Jade has got responded in kind by temperament though, so perhaps still a chance for the Suns as they keep the man count relatively even and finally confirm the fact that it is. Deovolt all the way inside of A, gets that final kill on that side of the map, but this plant's gone down on B. Long ways to go, a lot of angles to clear, but the Suns are going at it quite fast. These Wolves letting them use it as well, playing all the way back on the site. Temperament finds the trade after Jebel gets aggressive first of all. Dashing up into heaven. Interesting little decision to make that one happen, but he's got this. Okay, doesn't even need to go back. He had that rewind just in case he needed it, but walked straight into elbow, made sure that everyone important was already dead. Jay had gone down, Knight had gone down, and Temperament now has a free defuse, easiest one he's got in quite a while. Nice clutch from Temperament.
Jay overstayed his welcome towards A main, ended up handing them a Vandal and a Phantom, and that's where things started to go wrong. They were able to pick off Knight, I believe, as well over towards Art, and hence that handed over 2 weapons to the Suns. And in that 2 versus 2, one of the players on the Wolves had only a Ghost to work with, so it realistically came down to a 1 versus 2 automatic. Giving up that Phantom realistically was the most disastrous moment of that round, and well, the Suns have retaliated exactly the same way that the Wolves did in the last map after conceding the pistol round. However, in a much better way, given that they get free weapon upgrades for 2 players. And Weasel, good timing.
Yeah, I mean, he's looking the wrong way. Whimsical does find a response on a Wheezy, taking out one of the most important players of a previous map. But a couple laps of judgment in the middle of the map means that the man count now actually is evened up. Sitting Bull, we're starting off very bad in the round, but Shankadeska Chakana give up a couple kills before they get the plant down on the A site. Completely vacant it is. This time Jay's alive, and Fives as well as Jebel. So they have a lot of util to be able to hold this post plant, but Sitting Bull are going to be pretty much in the same position because they haven't, I don't think they've used too much coming into the round because of how weird the fights were across the map. But Jay with this Empress has made his way all the way into Art yet again with this massive flank. Temperament finds one first though, but Jay kind of has an idea that someone's in the smoke. Surely he has his gun out for this one behind the wall. Somehow Rek is getting away with all of this, but now everyone else is dead. It's just Jay. He finds the first though in one-on-one now. Has still the Guardian to work with. Plenty of bullets to make this clutch happen. Bullet trying to work his way around, but the time is ticking so low, and Jay's got that with the pressure on the opponent's back. Sean Kadesko with the 3rd round. Back and forth this map goes.
Jay making up for his errors of the last round as he clutches that up, finding the final 3 frags, and the man has a 3k average for every single round at this point. 9 kills found, only 1 death, while we're only 3 rounds in. He's starting to look dangerous. And now it's Sitting Bull. They're back into a situation that they were in last round, last map as well, where their arsenal is just gonna have to be a sort of a mixed match of things until they can somehow align their finances a few rounds deep. But realistically, this is not gonna end well
Dropping
for them
smokes.
as the push comes in towards the B side. The smoke should keep the players off the Wolves at bay, at least for the time being. However, given the nature of their plays across these 2 maps so far, you cannot be sure whether they're gonna hit the site or not as of yet.
That was a really nice shot from Trebles to try and dissuade any further aggression onto A, but the thing is, Jay's got a kill, as well as Link getting dismantled. Wheezy made his way through, even though he took a lot of damage, so there's still a big chance for Suns to come back into it. Jay even half armor at this point. Taking down, that's a nice headshot. Wreck, the wrong timing to throw that dizzy, buddy. Now it's a 2-on-4.
Die.
Make that a
My ultimate's
2-on-3
ready.
as Wheezy gets caught out from the Volt in Link again. But once again, it's just, this has happened like 3 times at this point.
planted.
They go B, these guys are on site, and Chonkadeska plant on the other site while these people are still on B. I don't know how they manage to do it every time, but very nice bait, pulling every member of Sitting Bull away so they can get on. But creeping onto the site itself is Temperament. Very quietly, Devolt is going to get that first kill. Temperament's going to go checking. And I don't know if he's going to be ready for this position on the site. All right, Fives doesn't even look the other way. Jay now needs to come back into it so darn fast, and I just don't think this time anyways.
Last
He knows
player
that he just wants to
standing.
save and get any exits he can. Finds a kill onto the Vice, and Temperament knows that he doesn't want this smoke. He doesn't want this fight. Lets Jay hold that angle. And Sitting Bull do take the second round that they have.
Yeah, Jay has been a tad bit slow in some of these rounds. I mean, he having to clutch up in every single round just repeatedly speaks a lot about the pacing that's going wrong here on the side of the Wolves. Jay, he should be involved a tad bit sooner to be able to help his teammates out rather than being left all by himself. That too being so far away in 1 versus 2, 1 versus 3 situation, so there's gonna have to be some sort of a readjustment. He is gonna go and lurk about all on his own, at least for the time being, but it's the reunion that matters the most, and when it happens, the Y is once again gonna be awaiting the attackers towards the A side, way the ultimate coming in, and so is the push. Whimsical Wreck has been stunned up, however the smoke keeps him safe, and he somehow manages to get out alive with even a frag.
Yeah, Convergent Pass actually hit nothing there on the site because everyone from Sitting Bull was playing nice and safe. Wheezy is all the way up forward, doesn't manage to land the right click, had a chance, but Jebel's going to shut him down. Jebel's in the middle of it, finds one as well. As towards the back, and the Guardian doesn't even manage to find the frag. It's the Vandal instead from the Clove.
Spike planted.
Now Convergent Pass the other way. Everyone on the site, slow
bad.
motion. Jebel's going to get taken out by Temperament
Nice
first.
slow
Jay now
down.
spotted, but up in default. I think he saw the gun. Surely he saw the gun. Dashes back sight to get away from the Reyna. And Jay now stuck in the smoke, means the Sage is in a bit of a pickle on the site. Temperament
Last
has to have
player
called the
standing.
Sage's position,
One
but Jay's going to be
enemy
the one to get the kill first. And the shotgun misses at a crucial moment. Temperament's got it. All 3 headshots and the clutch for Sitting Bull.
For the first time, I guess if you negate the best round from the last map, the Suns have gotten a lead deeper into the map, and this is exactly what I was looking for. I mean, a lot of the things that are going wrong right now is because of the errors that Wolves are making. They're not playing as well coordinated as they were on Split. However, it's really great seeing Wolves capitalize on it as well. Temperament has been having a really great game so far, and the defense, sure, it has been a tad bit lopsided, but the Wise Util has been phenomenal in trying to keep things a tad bit smoother for the Suns.
Yeah, click onto this B site this time. Wheezy's just going to go dashing up. Hasn't managed to find too much in terms of kills for himself in this map on the Neon, but
Don't miss
he's
it
going to
too much.
place himself pretty deep into B. Drag out a lot of utility. Still can't find the frags, but he's taking a lot of attention over here. Now getting driven off this util by Temperament as well. There's the refract already used by the defensive waylay, so maybe a chance to catch them off guard soon. But Sitting Bull quickly realized
back
this
here.
rotation's coming through as Jay finds a kill. Knight on the other side of the map. Stay over your frags around this A site. And it should be secure for the plant to come through. And not even through the wall. I don't even know how we saw Sen there. But this spike just walks straight on for free while Jay takes even more space. And perhaps another frag. Got it. Empress still active. Kebbles can't fight it. No light of day. Wolves take it back.
That was a quick round, and that is sort of the Wolves that I was anticipating to see from the get-go here. It took a while for them to awaken such a performance. However, that was a dominant showing. I mean, immediately finding headshots left and right, and that is sort of what you anticipate after, especially after such a map number one. But can they keep it up is going to be the real question. Maybe they just wanted to let the Suns have exactly the same amount of rounds as they did last map, but we're yet to find out.
I mean, we still got a ways to go, hopefully. I mean, even this half, we're only a quarter through. But straight on to A yet again. This time they're grouped up. This time everyone is together. Weezy's gonna dash his way all the way through the backside. Miss it for, okay. Yeah, maybe he's just not a Neon player, you know? That can be the case. The only casualty so far on the defense is Kebbles, but not dead yet. And he still won't be as he takes out the opponent, Globe. Flag comes down in the midst of all the chaos, but all the kills go in favor of Sitting Bull. And somehow, even through all the domination that Chonkadeska has shown throughout this entire series, plus last week, Sitting Bull come out on top with a flawless round in map number 2.
This is the first time I believe any team has done this, winning a flawless against the Wolves, at least on broadcast here at Official EGF. But wow, I mean, I think unfortunately it's the three duelists I think that are really causing a problem here, because as you said, the Neon is starting to feel a little bit uncomfortable on Weasel, and Weasel was having a much better game last map as well, when he was playing an agent that he seemed realistically comfortable with. However, forcing that three duelist when it felt completely unnecessary, just I think is starting to come back and bite them.
And there's always some philosophy with teams, right? When you're winning this hard in the league, perhaps there's some times where you just want to test things out in an actual competitive environment. That is a hypothesis that I could make. Because, yeah, at this point, it's definitely that Weezy is not a Neon player. Like, it's just, there's no reason to whiff the dash into backside B. It's just not a thing that people do. So, maybe he just wants to learn fair play, right? Just get some reps on it, get some reps in actual tournament play. So, it could end up well, it could not. And this round, it's probably not, because Jay, this time, is the carry and has already gone down to this map. Weezy's gonna finally find his second kill of the map on a nice little peek onto one of the players trying to rotate back into mid. Not expecting his location. Now they know where he is, though, and now, even with the spike in hands, there's a lot of info on where the entire team of Wolves are, because they're all sitting in this B link, and they're trapped in here. Nowhere else to go, and Kebbles has got one through the smoke. He's gonna take one out.
30 seconds left.
Oh, it's gonna make things so much more difficult. It has faded away, but so do the lives. 1 versus 1, they know exactly where both of them are. A flash prepared for Deuce if he wishes to use it. It is set up, however, time's of the essence here for Jamal. He's gonna have to make a move. Has spotted the head, but needs to move. Spike needs to be planted. It's gonna go off on a bait, and he gets the headshot.
Somehow that bait was absolutely perfect. I think there was this full confidence on the defense that, yep, that flash got him. And honestly, I don't even know how it didn't. I have no idea how Jebel like dodged that. Just like a teensy tiny bit of terrain or something blocked it, but it wasn't even like a half climb. It was completely just no flashing. So I guess good job, well done, good bait, good clutch. Forward 4, scoreline still even. It has been one round after another for each individual team ever since the pretty much the 1-2 round streak from Sitting Bull. That's it. Ever since then, it's been Chonkadeska, Sitting Bull, Wolves, Suns. Like it's just the zipper. And now, if all things are going like how they're supposed to, Suns should take this round. But in fact, it's the Wolves trying to pull it back. They're the ones that want to break the trend.
Have taken over the B side, but that over-aggression from Weasel is just not working out. Whenever he's attempted it, it's rarely ever help him get a frag this time around. It's unfortunately
One enemy
first hand
remaining.
yet again a 2 vs 2. But Jay from behind has picked off Sen, so a 1 vs 2 with the Wise extremely weakened up. This should, in theory, be extremely easy to close out. However, it isn't done as of yet. There is a little bit of time for them to work with still, but the
There.
wall is going to make matters all the more worse
There.
as there's going to be a little bit before it actually fades away, and the spike
Last player
itself
standing.
doesn't have a lot of time remaining. It's going to be a clean trade to close out the round as Wolves regain their lead.
Jay left alive towards the end. Make sure that the round is Wolves. Wolves' apostrophe S. 19 kills for the Reyna. Definitely not the best agent in the world, but yeah, I gotta admit, he could probably do the same thing on any other agent that wasn't Reyna, but there is something to be said about like mentality, right? Because half of the game obviously is shooting, the other half is just mental. If you think you can hit the shot, 75% of the time you got it. And on the Reyna, on this kind of agent where you know that you have no jobs other than to get frags and perhaps make some entries happen for your team, it is just that different of a mentality that you're coming into the round with. Because even look at this, Jay has nothing, like he's got nothing to lose, right? He walks out B, 50% of the time he gets a kill, probably at this point more than that. But even if he dies, doesn't matter. He's just gonna pull 3 people over from the defense. And with that, this B site has holes. And Knight's already found one, dashing through. He's gonna try and find another and drag out another player. And Devolt cannot hit the shots. It's Knight with a double kill, the entry onto A, and the A site completely vacant from the entirety of Sitting Bull. And Jay is still making noise on the other side of the map.
Iris is 3, make that 5 vs 2. Weasel yet
Last
again,
player
highly aggressive,
standing.
stationed up, but traded out. The resurrect
Last
comes
player
through, but it has
standing.
been questionable, I'd say. Sen has been found as well. They know exactly where the last player is, and Jay from behind, well, wouldn't even matter. And Ace coming in from Knight. As the Wolves finally put up 2 round, pull chain together 2-round lead, but I think this is the pivotal point here of the game where things are now getting back into the grasp of the Wolves and they're taking control.
Yeah, I think the only chance the Sitting Bull do have, because Chonkadeska are definitely, they're warming up on their attack side. It's taking a while, but they're getting to a place where individuals are just taking control of rounds, right? What we saw from Wheezy in the previous map, where you're just on the Omen and you decide to ace. When that kind of thing happens, it gets really difficult. But there's 2 rounds left until the second half. Sen still with a nice little wall play there, not expected by Wheezy. Even though there was a kill ahead of time, Sen's gonna try and trade himself out. But Jay's gonna get away from that just in time for him to survive. Still, they have to win it, right? Chonkadeska, it's not done. Knight makes it a better showing. Rex the one to go down
Spike
now. So
planted.
they're on their way to winning the round. Plant now confirmed. Temperament though gets a kill, which means it's still close. Devil at the back of the site has an eye on Temperament. If he decides to walk out in this slow, it's gonna make a lot of noise. Util going there. Edel's gonna delay for just a small little bit. Devolt now with the flash once again. Try these guys. Actually, with the Steel Garden, no one can shoot with their primary weapons except for Jay. He's got to do it all, and usually he can. But the pistol's gonna find one after
enemy
Devolt
remaining.
gets a kill. But Jay with the only rifle now is taken out. Jebel gets brought back into life. Into the
One
back
enemy
halls,
remaining.
and Temperment's actually gonna
Last
pick up the
player
first
standing.
5s. But the thing is, he's won the round. That res is all that has mattered. He might have gone down at the end of it, but he brought back his teammate to get the frag on the diffuser, and that is what wins
Last
Chonkadeska their
round in
7th.
the half.
A really close call and perhaps still not as comfortable for the Wolves as they'd like, but great util usage and great awareness
Now
from
we
Wise
win.
in such a situation to be able to pull that off as well. It got a little too close to call, but the Wolves have guaranteed themselves at least a 2-round lead heading into the next half as we are now going to enter the final round of this first half. And the Wolves, I mean, this has been the most fierce competition that they've faced. I mean, sure, the scoreline it may start to look a little lopsided towards the Wolves. However, the rounds have been extremely close, and really props to the Suns to have made it so, especially after the map 1 they had, to be able to have a mental reset and put up such great competition as well for a team that has not even lost 3 rounds against anybody is phenomenal.
Great util from Knight. to get himself all the way into the back of Flowers. Jay, even with an angle towards the back of sight, spots out Device. Devil's still getting one. Device not called out. All right, he's able to get the first kill. Jay, though, still active. Still's got the Empress. We're not dead yet. He's dead very soon. Wreck gets wrecked towards the end of it, and Chicana don't lose the last 2 rounds of their first half. They might have looked a bit rocky, but they come out into the second one quite comfortable.
Thank you.
Great start. Yeah, well, great conclusion to the first half here. They pulled together, I believe, 4 rounds in a row. And a timeout being called in immediately towards a pistol round. So I'm not entirely sure what the ideology is behind that. Maybe just somebody needs a bathroom break, but they should technically have sufficient time, I suppose, before a pistol round. But it's fine. Realistically, Wolves are looking extremely dominant. So if you can come up with something new within this timeout, then absolutely phenomenal. And I think it could work out really great as well if they do figure out something about the playstyle here. You don't have a lot of information about how exactly Wolves want to approach this because again, it's going to be the very first round of the defense for the Wolves. So you haven't faced it off even once. You don't know who wants to play where. However, the only silver lining here, I guess, for the side of Sitting Bull here is that the fact there aren't any initiators or proper sentinels. I mean, sure, there's a Sage, but that wall is not going to hold back much.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely a couple ways that they could just play this attack, right? They could either expect Wolves to be the confident selves that they are and to walk up in every single extremity and just sit there in attacker spawn and let Wolves walk into them. Like there can only be a couple players in any individual spot, like A main, in mid, in B. So they sit 5 men somewhere, just wait for a gunfight, and then they just firing squad whoever comes at them. That's an option. Or they just decide to try and find a weak spot. Because there still is a weak spot. Weezy has not put up nearly the numbers that he was putting up in the first map. Jay and Knight are the ones carrying now. So if they can find these players and either rush them, go towards them with 5 people so they can't find all the kills, just like that, right? Waiting until they walk up, or they find some other weak spot and move away from the carries. Those are 2 very powerful options that they have on this attack because they have no information. But the thing is, they don't use the information on their own side for Sitting Bull, so Knight gets a kill, Devil finds another on the site, and Jay follows that up. So now it's a bit of a disaster for Sitting Bull. Deovolt gets one in response, but still only 1 and Jay's not afraid. 1 more left for the Sitting Bull to make this clutch happen, and Temperament has been one of the best players so far on this attack. But he's taken down very, very low by the Reyna over on the defense. Has to reconsider and has plenty of time to play with, but he's waiting now for perhaps Wolves to continue to get way too overconfident, try and go for some pushes even though they know he's low. Devil just goes for some pot shots through the smoke, and that's all it takes to take him out.
Yep. Well, Wolves, I think they're in the driver's seat now. You have a phenomenal conclusion to the first half. I mean, things did look a tad bit shaky here, but the only realistic way that I think the Suns can mount a comeback here is if they sort of counteract the 3 duelist. I mean, you have to take advantage of the fact that they don't have a lot of defensive utility here. Even the controller that they have is one of the more aggressive ones, besides the smoke and the wall, which is really, really temporary. You do not have a lot of defense util to face off against, so you can anticipate some aggression coming out from the side of the Wolves. You just have to play around that, and yet again, there you go. A push straight up towards a main, and unfortunately with the inferior weaponry, just is absolutely impossible to shut it down for the time being.
Yeah, this one was tough. I think the decision was good, and the shot, all right, from Sen, even better. But yeah, like you mentioned, they have no guns. So the beautiful util usage from Chonkadeska means that they're able to take a lot of 1vx's inside A main. And even with all the people that are trapped inside this location, it is getting a little bit close. Even though Chonkadeska was so successful towards the start of the round, goes down to a 1v1. And Knight picking up a weapon means that his opponent knows exactly where he is. Picks up the spike, rotates all the way to the back of the site, commits to a plant, doesn't want to go all the way to B, but fakes it out. And now he gets on it again. I mean, he's got to go for this eventually. Knights is going to walk on up, use that little bit of hesitation to walk up closer to Temperament, but somehow loses that fight. Not something we've seen often, but the Waylay this time that wins it is on Sitting Bull.
And the fact that Temperament won it with the frenzy as well. He had a bulldog. He didn't need to use it, but he pulls it out, clutches it up very casually, and just walks away. And that's really great. Again, that is something that you have to take advantage of. The Wolves got extremely aggressive, and Sen finding those two frags initially was absolutely crucial. It set Temperament up for that late flank because it forced the players off the Wolves to stay around, because Sen, well, he was just alive so long that they had to make sure that he died before they could move further.
Now Chonkadeska in a world of hurt. No one likes losing that second round. Wreck. Ooh, that's not
Spike
great.
down
That's even
A.
worse. Wheezy finding himself in the second half.
I
Up
have
to
the spike.
9 now from a very pitiful scoreline of 1 and 6. So doing a lot better now that they've switched sides. But the 1-for-2 trade, considering the fact that Wolves are on the defense and the fact that Knight goes walking, this is really good for Sitting Bull. Spots out
You
another
fought
one.
well.
Jevel doesn't expect the
One
Sage
enemy
wall play.
remaining.
Sen's got 2. Nice shots from the Sage. And the plant going down all the way on the other side of the map. Jay has no idea until it's way too late. Sen, though, doesn't know that he's here until he's finally, okay, there you go, spots him. Now they know they've got plenty of time before Jay can even participate in this clutch. The thing is, call it Sitting Bull actually planted in a very safe spot. So obviously they didn't know where Jay was until just now. But if Jay went a bit faster, there's actually a realistic chance that he could clutch this out because it's planted where no one can see. These guys can't go down long. They have to play the site. But at this point, it probably doesn't end up mattering. Just something to note for future rounds. But very nicely done from Sitting Bull to pull all of Chonkadeska over all over the place where they can end up actually walking onto an open B site. They win the round for free and might even get a kill on a Jay here with the exit. Who knows? Oh, okay, it's weird. Are both gonna live? Oh, Temperament gets him. That's big to take the gun away.
It's still pretty close here. Well, I mean, Sitting Bull somehow keeping things intact, and I'm really baffled right now because realistically, it seemed like that the Wolves should have been walking away even from before the map began. But the fact that Sitting Bull College, they've kept things close, they've kept their composure even after having a not so great conclusion to the first half. It's really phenomenal, and now they're the ones that are working with a much better arsenal. However, Jay, extremely aggressive, finds
Feeling
one,
set.
looking for more. The flash out enables him to take that second peek, but now he's going to be forced to back off. On the other end, it's Weasel out with his Neon ultimate that is going to allow him to get to one frag.
You will
However,
not
the
kill
Gecko is
my
going to try
ally.
and hold him back. The Resurrect is
that.
there, but they're not prepared for Knight on the flank yet again.
One enemy remaining.
Found. Oh, the stun connected onto 2!
Yep, that is Saturate for you. Best ability in the entire game, and Chonkadeska use it to perfection. Hits double into that mid play, and then there's just nothing you can do. Absolutes put in slow-mo, time dilated, just whatever the case, you could call it 50 million things, but whatever it is, Chonkadeska come out with their 10th round in the second map, which means they're only 3 away from winning this whole series. Jay up at 24, Knight up at 22. Shown us last round that they can make some magic happen. And now with this convergent paths on the defense, they have a lot of stopping power to prevent Sitting Bull from getting on these sites, and no ults to work with on the other side other than a similar convergent paths on Temperaments. So somehow they need to make some stuff happen, just like they were towards the middle of the second half. Walking doesn't get punished. Temperament just doesn't have the gun to match it.
Spike down
And Javel even a
B.
stereo frag over towards that B site. Knight going fighting. He wants to go fishing. Can't find the shots until he gets traded.
One enemy remaining.
1 for 1. Javel still with the Guardian at the back of the site. Does exactly that. Guards that B. Guards that spike. And even though there's one left
enemy
alive,
taken
Fives
out.
is going to catch him out. And this time Sitting Bull, real disjointed. Chonkadeska just picked them off one by
You
one.
must fall, then fall near me.
Now it's found 2 more to go, unfortunately, for the Suns. The finances are now starting to look a lot more thinner. They are going to have rifles across the board, however, some of them will be inferior, and some of them are going to have to make do with just half shields across the board. But They do have two ultimates online. The Wise ultimate could realistically help them out a lot, particularly when the Wolves are gonna get aggressive. So if they can take away those primary weapons, then that puts them at a great advantage. However, they're gonna need the manpower to be able to handle that pressure as well. And right now, it's nowhere to be seen. The Waylay ultimate to allow the push to go even further, but they're gonna await that knight currently. Does not have a lot of backup to work with, but Sen walks right into the crosshair of Devil. Weasel follows up. They know exactly where
One
one another
enemy
player is.
remaining.
The dash
Spike
straight
down
into
A.
Knight's crosshairs, unfortunately, and that's gonna leave only Kebbles behind.
I mean, there's only one more. There's no way he wins the round. Can get at least one, but there's so many guns being pointed at him. This is no chance. Wolves up to 12, only one more needed.
Match point.
One more indeed. Sitting Bull, they need 6 in a row, and I mean, one of the better things here is that this is probably the closest competition that we have seen the Wolves face.
Mhm.
Not in terms of the rounds alone. I mean, the round count in itself is pretty dominant still. I mean, we've seen 13-2 pretty often from the Wolves, but a 13-6 scoreline is still extremely good. But the way that these rounds played out, it
Be right
got
back.
down to a 1 versus 1, a 2 versus 2 so often that you just cannot say that the Suns did not put up a phenomenal fight.
Yeah, I mean they've been playing well. Like I can't even lie. There are definitely rounds where I look at players from the Sun shoot like they could be on the Wolves. If we didn't have name tags, we wouldn't be able to tell. But still, with the scoreline being shown, like it really, just like you said, doesn't tell the whole story. 12 to 6 now. And Chonkadeska are the ones that need the kills right now. And the ace for Weezy almost comes through. Kebbles is barely not dead yet, but there's nothing that they can do.
Defenders
The
win.
Wolves, they bare their fangs and their claws. And Suns get absolutely shredded in this 2-0 victory from Chonkadeska.
Yeah, phenomenal conclusion yet again from the side of the Wolves, putting up a round that we generally do anticipate from them. It was flawless. They pushed in as fast as they could, and that round, realistically, it sort of felt like the Suns had just given up. They did not have a lot of money to work with. Their arsenal was not the finest as well, so they just put together whatever they could, and realistically, the result was what we anticipated. However, I did not think that the scoreline would get that close in terms of the round count, but given how a lot of these rounds played out, I would not have been surprised if somehow the Suns had even managed to put up double digits towards the end of it.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely realistic, right? Because the Suns, they've had some trials and tribulations throughout their own league season. They definitely had a heck of a match. I'm still a little bit upset that we didn't get to see their first scheduled match. For like 3 weeks ago, because again, that one, both games happened to get postponed that day, so we just didn't have a broadcast. But they played that one off stream, and yeah, that one went 3 maps. That one went the distance. I would have really liked to see that competition up on the main broadcast, but whatever the case, we do get to see them put up a pretty decent showing up against who are very much solidified to be the best team in the league this season. Chonkadeska Chicana Wolves, 13 to 6 in the second map, 13-3 in the first. So this time they have blood a little bit more, right? It definitely wasn't the 26 to 2 scoreline that they had in the previous week, at least 9 rounds for Sitting Bull. They've done over 4 times as good as their predecessors. So this is they definitely look better. And I think if we went even further, maybe with some more time for Sitting Bull to warm up into things, I think we could have gotten an even better scoreline out of them. Just like you said, perhaps getting to double digits. Cabal's shooting well, they vote shooting well, Temperament especially being at the top of the scoreboard, positive 20 and 14 on the waylay. Multiple of these people actually looked like they were pretty calm and collected, not like nervous or anything in the second map, not shaky with their aim. They were just sitting there. Even specifically, I remember Kebbles sitting back B site looking towards Link and just breathe in and out, right? Just go for the taps. So they have the discipline, and some of them have the mechanics to make these rounds happen. It's just that the entirety of Chakadeska are so just momentum. That is the word, right? I don't know if you guys have
Yeah.
seen the Tarek short playing with Noya on Haven, but momentum, that's what you've got to tell yourself in your head. That's what you got to tell the team. As long as you have that behind you and you can keep that confidence going, you're just not afraid when you peak, not afraid when you fight. any decision that goes through your head you believe is absolutely the right one. That's what the Wolves are going with. It doesn't matter if they lose one fight one round. They're just going to try it again the next because they these mistakes can't be repeated, right? Maybe it's a mechanical mistake one time, but then they understand that they have the aim to make it work the next time. So that's why the Wolves are just so insanely oppressive to play against, even though I'm pretty sure that Sitting Bull definitely have the ability to go toe to toe with them any other day.
They most certainly can. However, for today, it's just going to be the Wolves that come out with their record still looking extremely clean. That's going to be 3-1, all with a 2-0 score line. But we're going to find out more about how exactly they're doing it and what exactly is it that they think that's working out for them when we get to a player interview. But before we head on over there, we're going to take a short break, so don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
After a stunning victory by the Chonkadeska Chicana Wolves up against Sitting Bull College 13-6 in the second map, in total 9 rounds won by their opponents, but of course 26 by the Wolves, 2-0 in terms of map count. We're joined by one of their players, Jebel. Welcome, Jebel, and congratulations on the victory.
Hey, how's it going? It's-
And Flick, do you want to take the general stuff? Because I know
uh,
like there's a lot of stuff to ask, but I think we want to keep it simple just to make sure that these guys can get back to their teams to celebrate. And then we know it's pretty late,
Yeah.
so we don't want to keep them too late.
Yeah, I'm just gonna have I just realistically have one question. It's about the three duelist decisions that you guys had on the second map. I mean, I believe it was Weasel who played Omen on map number one, and he did it so phenomenally. So I'm not entirely sure what exactly was the thought process behind running the three duelists and switching people away from their roles. What was going through your guys' head?
I didn't know myself. I was just following my captain's orders. Um, I don't know what he was thinking either.
Oh God. Okay.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Bro.
Sometimes I guess you just listen to your IGL or something like that. Do you think there was just what is okay? So I guess this is a follow up to that statement, and also kind of leads into the next question that I have for you. You guys are pretty solidly the best team in the league. Like there is no one so far that has been able to put up too much of a fight against you. Obviously, in the week number two, there was the Mykonox that took you guys like both the maps were kind of like this, right? We got like seven rounds, 8 rounds from your opponents.
Mm.
But apart from that, it's been a no pun intended. It's been a breeze. So is that kind of part of the mentality going into this, where you guys, no offense to Wheezy, it doesn't look like he's a neon player, but are you guys just like trialing agents in these games at this point, just so you can get some practice on them for maybe switching some stuff up for playoffs, or like what's going on there, if there's a story at all?
I wouldn't call it a story. Where I guess we are just trialing agents, but I don't know. It's I think it's just up to the our captain to what we play. So like
Says Jay's
Neon
was like,
Clove
I
is my
I want to play Reina. Just let me run in and kill people. Is that
yeah, yeah, basically, yeah.
I mean, I respect it, man. Like after
Yeah.
13-3 on the first map, I don't think anyone can blame you for doing whatever you guys want for the rest of the series, and it clearly worked out. Jay's at 26 kills, so this guy's popping off. Knight's already at 25 as well, so there's definitely shooters in your team. And with that said as well, uh, do you think there will be any struggle in playoffs? Because I'm pretty sure that will. Again, I need to get some more information about that from our boss, but for whatever happens after this this next week, right? Because there's only one play day left. I think just looking at the standings, it can only get easier from here for your team. But beyond that, there is still the possibility that you guys re-meet the Mykonox inside playoffs, right? The first time you met, it was 17, 13-7, 13-9. So
Mm.
after these couple of rounds, especially with you guys on stream twice in a row, do you think there's any struggle there? Do you think there's going to be some VOD review they're going to do? Or have you guys got plans to make that second meeting even more one-sided than it was the first time?
I think we have plans to make it more one-sided. To like, I know we're gonna be practicing a lot more and coming in a lot more, just just to grind maps or just to get better.
That makes sense. Again, respectable. I don't know what else to say. I think, um, I do think that's pretty much it. I don't want to ask too much about like strategy and all that stuff because we know there's a lot of stuff for teams to hide, especially for you guys that looked like definitely the strongest team. So I'd imagine you guys do have the thickest strat book out of all these teams. So we'll let you guys keep your secrets. But before we let you go, do you have anything that you would want to say to any of the people watching you in chat or anyone you want to thank? Because I know just looking at my second monitor right now, I do have the chat up. There's a lot of WWW Night, Raw, W Wolves, W Lightwork. Like you guys have a lot of people out there that love you. So is there anything that you'd want to say to them at all?
Just like to say thanks and thanks for coming out. Thanks to the captain and coach. It's pretty much it.
That's, that's
Yeah.
fair. That's fair. Everyone in chat, that's yeah. Thank you. Yeah, from us too. I mean, obviously, as the people running the broadcast, why would we be doing this if no one was watching? Um, so absolutely awesome to have you guys out there. But with that said, yeah, Jebel, pleasure to have you here. It's been a nice day and technically 2 days watching you play. So I hope to see more of you guys because you guys are pretty entertaining to say the least. Being obviously the winningest team of this year of the league, but still bringing out some silly things sometimes with the Bucky on Wheezy. So trying to make it work, but don't I don't know if he's gonna watch this interview back, but I, I don't mean anything. It just sometimes when I see a neon dash into the box instead of backside B on Pearl, I'm like maybe this guy maybe he's a jet player, you know, like it happens sometimes. Neon's hard, I gotta admit, but yeah. Anyways, Jebel, we'll let you go back to to your team to celebrate and perhaps eat some dinner or queue some ranked, whatever. It's like 10 p.m. over here on the East Coast. So yeah, thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you.
All right, Inflict, pretty cool.
Uh,
I think
yeah.
that was a pretty
I
solid
mean,
victory, 2-0.
the f- the fact that he said even he didn't know what was going on was baffling to me. I mean, yes, it does make sense because you guys have been dominating so much. You look at their previous series, you've only conceded 2 rounds. You have that freedom to be able to experiment and test things out, but to do so in such a
Hmm.
manner is sort of diabolical still. It's three duelists, one of them being a Reyna on a Pearl. Nobody plays Reyna on a Pearl. At least I don't think so. Uh, and
Yeah.
and yet I mean, it worked out partially because, well, there was, I believe, there was just such an immense skill gap that stood between the Suns and the Wolves that realistically also, not to take away credit from Wolves, sorry, not from Suns, but I think it really helped the Suns the that there were three duelists. So the play style that the Wolves had to adapt to, it was very limiting. You had three duelists, you just had to go aggressive. You had an aggressive controller as well. You had to take, so you had to just push. You had to take those fights head on. You could not defend for long, and because it simply just would not have worked out. He did not have the utility to be able to do so, and so I think that's what the Suns did a great job in capitalizing upon. However, it just still wasn't enough because the individual prowess, sure, it may have been there, but the Wolves are just much more cleaner as a team.
Hmm. And I gotta admit, I think if I'm going to provide any kind of hypothesis as to why this agent comp came out, I would say that maybe Jay just understands the fact that there's some agents in meta right now. Neon's very, very strong. Whaley's very, very strong. We're gonna get some reps on these guys before we have to go off to playoffs, just in case any of the other teams are catching up. Because there's all the tournaments going on right now. There's EMEA, NA, whatever champs, Masters qualifiers, excuse me. Stuff just finished, so you've got stats to look at for days. There's a lot of evidence that there's some really big outliers right now, and it's like I just said, Waylay Neon are just so insanely powerful, right? It's not like Jet and Raze are just out of the picture, but you definitely need to know how to play these agents if you want to have continued success long term. So maybe Jebbles is like, listen, guys, play these guys even if you're not the best on them, which Knight definitely put up numbers, didn't matter. Wheezy struggled a little bit towards the start, but he did come out positive. He's 17 and 15, so it's like not all bad. So eventually he did warm up into it at some point. But yeah, maybe it's just like get some practice. Like we have the games. Like it's not like we're gonna go down in seeding anytime soon. So I'll play the Reyna. If you guys can't do the job, I got it. That's all I can think of. That's why the Reyna exists. Because like, you're not wrong. Reyna's not played on this map anymore. Because I think it used to be the fact that Reyna was valuable on longer range maps because the Lear would have been infinite range and it'd be harder to shoot it down if it was further away because this is, I mean, smaller target, right? But now it's no longer infinite. They patched that quite a while ago. So Reyna is a lot weaker on
Yeah.
maps like Pearl, down long B, maps like Breeze, like up mid, from like top mid to bottom mid or stuff like that. Like the Lear just doesn't hit. So yeah, there's like no compositional reason why Jay would bring this other than the fact to say if you guys look, I'll just handle the frag and you just practice what you need to practice. That's it. Because they're still winning 13-6. It doesn't matter. And I honestly think they could probably win in a similar, if not the same fashion, with like 5 duelists. Like they I think they have the mechanics to do exactly that.
Yeah, I mean, they most certainly do. They already did. Jay, even though he was playing such a questionable agent, he still managed to put up such great stats, particularly in the early rounds. I believe he had, I believe, 12 kills just within 4 rounds, 9 frags within just three. He was averaging 3K at the very beginning. I mean, sure, they weren't winning rounds, but the individual prowess, the individual capability, it still showcased itself. And that sort of also showcases the gaps that the Suns have within themselves as a team because there was nothing there to enable the Waylay, to enable the Neon, or to enable the Reyna. And yet, even from the beginning of the game, the Reyna had a phenomenal run. And the Reyna shouldn't. As you said, the Lear, it's just not as strong anymore. So the Reyna is not even as good to be able to set herself up, much rather somebody else. But still, it just came out on. Jay just came out on top time and time again because of how much he was able to exploit those gaps that the Suns had in their trading and their positioning, and it just sort of repeated up until the end of the game.
Yeah, I mean that's just how this team works, right? And we do have one more play day for them, and I shudder to think what they're going to do to their opponents. Unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see them on stream because yeah, or actually let me double check. I think let's see, Monday the 23rd, best of three, 9 p.m. We are actually we actually have wolves on. I just realized we have them on stream 3 times. It's Sitting Bull, unfortunately, that we're not going to get to see another week. But they are playing next week. Sitting Bull are playing the Mykonos. I kind of want to see that one. I might petition our boss to switch streams because that one I think because of the fact that they were able to take some rounds off the Wolves, and the fact that the Wolves were like pretty neck and neck. Well, I wouldn't say neck and neck. There was no OT or anything like that. It didn't look like that. But like they did pretty well against the Mykonos. I would like to see the Sitting Bull versus Mykonos game, but as of now, that's off the schedule. And the one on schedule is TOCC versus Wolves. That one might be a little bit one-sided. So again, I don't think that the Wolves are going to have any continued struggles. Like they're going to absolutely breeze through the rest of the season, and by the rest, I mean 1 week.
Yeah.
They're absolutely going to smash their games, and but yeah, that that's just the way things go, right? That's the way it goes in a new league like this. It's the TCU. This is the first ever TCU that we have for all these different games. But speaking of Smash and what Wolves going to do to their opponents, they have other games. I don't know if they're in them, but there is Smash on Tuesdays. So tomorrow, if you guys are looking for some more TCU action for some other esports, there is Super Smash Bros. Ultimate on Tuesdays at the same time, 9 p.m. on either EGF 1 or 2. If it's EGF 1, there is no number 1, it's just EGF. But if you guys are interested in Rocket League, that'll be on Thursdays, same time, 9 p.m. And for Call of Duty, which we have some overlapping teams and obviously overlapping players, which we saw towards the start of the season, and the Wolves are there as well. So if you're a Wolves fan, you're gonna want to watch some COD at 9 p.m. on Fridays. But yeah, that is what we've got for the week. That's what the TCU has to offer. And for us, what we have to offer is this production. So thank you so much to AppCon for pulling all the strings, making sure the stream comes online at the scheduled time. And Inflict, thank you for casting with me. Is there anything else you want to say before you head off for the night?
God bless whoever is facing off Wolves in the playoffs.
Mm, yeah, that's we can just pray for them. There's
Yeah,
nothing else we can do.
yeah.
Um, I feel a little bit bad, but I look forward to seeing them. But I think we can make our predictions already. We'll see. We'll have to see though. We still got some weeks to go. But without further ado, all of you guys in the audience, thank you so much for watching so far, and we will see you next week or another day this week if you guys are interested in some more TCU. Have a good night, everyone. Take it easy.